They laughed when a Navy SEAL smirked and casually asked a black woman her rank like it was a punchline. But the laughter died instantly when 4 U.S. generals entered the room, snapped to attention, and saluted her. If you believe respect is earned, not assumed, and you love stories where arrogance collapses under truth, hit subscribe right now because this story will change how you see power, dignity, and silence forever. And from this very moment, the story unfolds in one unbroken breath, a single current of tension and revelation. Because on a rain-heavy morning outside Joint Base Andrews, where gray clouds pressed low like the ceiling of an unspoken judgment, Commander Evelyn Cross stood quietly near the security checkpoint wearing a plain charcoal coat, no insignia visible, hair pulled back tight, posture relaxed but precise, the kind that comes not from drills alone but from decades of command. And when Petty Officer First Class Ryan Halverson, a highly decorated Navy SEAL, known for his sharp instincts and sharper tongue, glanced at her while waiting for clearance into the restricted briefing wing, he felt the itch of boredom and bravado mix, saw no uniform, no ribbons, no visible authority, and with a grin meant for his teammates said loud enough for others to hear, "So, ma'am, what's your rank?" And a few snickers followed, subtle but real, because the culture of power often hides behind laughter. And Evelyn turned slowly, meeting his eyes not with anger but with a calm so deep it unsettled him. And she answered softly, "High enough," which drew more laughter until the sound was sliced clean by the sharp cadence of boots echoing down the hall. 4 men entering in rapid formation. Generals Hawkins, DeLuca, Ramirez, and Chen, legends whose names were spoken in war colleges with reverence, men who had commanded theaters of war. In the moment they saw Evelyn Cross, they stopped, straightened, and saluted in perfect unison, a thunderclap of respect that cracked the room wide open, conversations dying mid-breath, laughter evaporating into stunned silence, Halverson freezing as his training screamed at him to follow protocol, but his brain lagged behind reality, and Evelyn returned the salute with crisp precision before lowering her hand. And only then did the truth begin to surface like a tide pulling secrets from the shore, because Evelyn Cross was not merely an officer. She was the first black woman to quietly ascend to a joint special operations oversight role so classified her authority traveled ahead of her, while her name stayed behind closed doors. A woman who had grown up in rural Georgia watching her father polish his old service medals with a tenderness that told stories words never could. A woman who learned early that excellence would never protect her from doubt, but silence could be sharpened into armor. And as the generals addressed her as Madam Director, Halverson felt his stomach drop, memories flashing of every assumption he had ever made. Every joke passed as harmless, and the briefing that followed peeled back layers of mission-critical intelligence, revealing that Evelyn had orchestrated the extraction that saved Halverson's unit years earlier, the night they were pinned down in Kandahar, with comms failing and hope thinner than air, a voice cutting through static rerouting satellites and assets with surgical calm, a voice he never saw, never thanked, and now stood before him in human form, flesh, and as the story twisted further, it became clear that the question he had asked as a joke was the very test Evelyn used to measure character under pressure, not to punish, but to reveal. Because power unused is wisdom and humiliation teaches nothing. And instead of reprimand, she assigned Halverson to lead a joint training initiative under her oversight, forcing him to confront not only her authority but his own blind spots, weeks turning into months as they worked through grueling simulations, strategic debates, and quiet moments where Evelyn spoke of leadership not as dominance, but responsibility, of how rooms change when you enter them, and how silence can command louder than shouting. And Halverson changed, not because he was ordered to, but because he saw excellence embodied without spectacle. And when the initiative culminated in a high-stakes multinational exercise observed by top brass and allied nations, it was Halverson who publicly credited Evelyn Cross for redefining command in the modern era, his voice steady, his respect earned, and as applause filled the hangar she stood again without seeking it. The same calm presence from that rainy morning. Proof that rank is not always worn on the sleeve, that dignity does not announce itself, and that the most powerful people in the room are often the ones others never expect. And so the story ends where it began, with a question that once carried mockery now transformed into reverence, because the next in their generation, watching learned a lesson no manual could teach, that when arrogance meets truth, it bows, and when excellence walks quietly, the world eventually stands at attention.